Max Dillon was a boy raised by his overprotective mother, but of course he got electrical powers and stuff of that such, right? But there was actually a point where he wanted to become an electrical engineer. He actually did his job well until one day he was hit by a lightning bolt while working on a line. This lightning bolt turned Max into a living dynamo capable of charging, recharging himself with electricity. He became a criminal for fortune. His other ambition came to light again. He's one of those characters where he's surprisingly intelligent, but his low self-esteem holds him back. His own limitations is himself. I mean, since he's basically living electricity, he has a lot of blast power, right? It's pretty much self-explanatory. He can cut through a steel door vault with his blast power. He's fought characters like Daredevil, who's actually surprisingly quick, more than you think. He dropped him on this occasion, KOing him. Can climb a building with his electricity, so he can use versatility. By using the power of the electric cables which run up inside of the wall. Not to mention he can deactivate Mr. Fantastic's security system. He can drain others' electric abilities. He even states, absorbed, which makes me a lot more powerful. He blasts through an elevator door, another case with Daredevil. He used his electromagnetism to slide down the cable. He even blows open a wooden door. One can say he can control lightning and stuff, but he's not just lightning. He has electromagnetism, one could say. They're kind of both connected. He can kind of use this electromagnetism to draw himself to metal. His electric shield can block a lot of rubble, physical rubble, and if it's metal, it's definitely not getting past them. He turns people into statues. He stated, well, I'm creating an electromagnetic storm around the invisible girl, carbonizing the air and imprisoning her within a sheath of rock-hard electrocarbon atoms. Talking about being very versatile, Electro is. He made like an electric ramp he can like slide on, blocking bullets with this amped electricity, ambient electricity basically. One of his many occasions with Spider-Man, he blasted Spider-Man with electricity through a car roof, sending him flying, showing his blast power. He can also fling around metal by ionizing it. It's kind of like some electromagnetism. And during this fight with Spider-Man here, he drops a truck by picking up cars with his electricity. Dropping trucks on Spider-Man, one can say he has lifting power thanks to his electricity. One can say his electricity allows him to be able to pick up heavy stuff or just have raw power, not just electric power. Most of the time, water is a weakness, but sometimes he can make it a lethal to where if you're wet, he can electrocute the water and then you get fried even worse. On this occasion with Goodnight webbing, he can just snip that webbing with blast power. He one-shot at Black Cat on this occasion, knocking her out. He turned ice into steam with his blast power, letting you know how hot lightning can get as well. Yeah, one could say if you have lightning ability, you have basically heat manipulation because lightning is not necessarily cold. He can drain power lines to get more power or to get fueled. He can cause massive blackouts, makes a massive Rikers prison break doing so. Lightning storm legitly messing up helicopters. Talk about blast power. Looks like a little force field right here as well. In the occasion with the Fantastic Four, he blasts the thing backwards right here, scuffling with the Fantastic Four. Not only did he block blast from the Human Torch with his lightning, see right there, even blasting the Human Torch. Blows apart concrete and melts metal instantly. He can surround you in a ring of electricity just kind of floating in the vicinity to where you're kind of trapped. He even stated, that's why they call me Electro. All the power of electricity is here. He can bring down extremely large walls with his blast power. Torching normal humans with his electricity is enough to kill him. His aura even made Spider-Man sleepy, so lets you know he can have like an electro aura around him. His body is quote unquote in electric shock condition. Obviously don't knock him to electric currents because it will revitalize him. Somehow touching metal bars did that. Touching a switch that has massive amounts of electricity running through it, he's immune to it because he's Electro, obviously. Can turn on a TV with his electric ability. He can even fly on electric cables. He can kind of do some form of teleportation, or one can say traveling inside the lightning or turning into the lightning itself or electricity. Even Spider-Man said now he's on the other side of me, thanks to him using lightning. His electrical field is what helps him be able to endure punches from Spider-Man, shrugging off hits from Spider-Man thanks to his shielding. Here, his electrical charge deflected my blow, and his bolts are so powerful he can even accidentally take out characters like Vulture by accident friendly fire. This is like his way of flying, like using the lightning ramp, like slide on it. It's more implication here that his weakness is water, but it's not always his weakness. He can actually amp himself with prep time by supercharging himself to the point where water isn't necessarily end all be all type of thing. When he's drained a lot of electricity, he can get powerful enough to where he can kind of combat water. He even vaporized the water and attacks the brain with his electricity. He states, I can superheat the air, turning the water into steam, getting new powers to disrupt the electrical impulses within your brain. Spider-Man in this occasion. So yeah, he has potential to grow in power thanks to environmental amping and stuff like that. Like imagine if Thor decided to charge up Electro with the lightning. You know what I'm saying? When he's supercharged, he can even bring down buildings with ease. Thanks to him being supercharged, he can kind of do hexy stuff. Nate Gray is a psionic type of being, tries to go inside Electro's head, right? Nate Gray even says, I'm only going to add a few mental blocks to prevent you from assessing your powers. Electro literally says, sounds like a good plan. Too bad brainwaves are a form of electrical energy, and I'm the master of all electricity. Kind of getting the drop on even Nate Gray. He even states, yikes, Electro's even more powerful than I imagined. His energy cocoon is blasting him and Nate through this building's concrete foundation, causing all of that destruction. It's also implied, thanks to his electricity, he can block telepathic attacks because of how electricity circuits go through the brain and stuff. He kind of has resistance to mind destruction. Blasted, set a lady on fire, accidentally killed her with his blast power. He could even shave with his power. He somehow burns through a rubber glove. Even rubber is supposed to be resistant to electricity or immune. Blasting back Spider-Man afterward. He can fry folks to a skeletal level, having fun with his electricity like steel. He can use the electrical objects to travel inside of it. Like he has a physical form and a lightning form, basically. He blasted Sandman this one time, thanks to, you know, how sand is to heat. Electricity is the heat. He can make Sandman into glass, technically. Can travel on any current, literally. Consistently blasting himself through Spider-Man's webbing as well. He's not afraid to use his speed, like going into the Quinjet like this, and then proceeds to blitzing fast characters like Hawkeye or even Spider-Woman, who's a Spider-Man tier, basically. Not to mention Hawkeye has reflexes in microseconds, which is literally 1/1,000,000th of a second, yet this didn't stop Electro from blitzing him or a Spider tier character with his raw speed. And no, this is not an outlier because comic characters react to microsecond stuff all the time. So Electro's able to go faster than they can react, showing his raw speed. But here he is powered up though, even states here. The thing is, since my power up, I don't even need those other guys. I can take you all on by myself. He states, I'm lightning fast. Lightning can go up to speeds of 224,000 miles per hour. It should be worth noting that he takes down the Avenger Quinjet. He can rip open the road and send cars flying with this amount of output he can produce. By the way, when it comes to water, it's going to take just a little bit more than a splash. Like, you're going to have to smother him with a ton of water. Anybody with a water gun can't just beat him. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he should have reflexes faster than bullets. This is common for Marvel characters. And he can block the bullets with his electricity as well. He almost brought down Spider-Man to a near unconscious state with a single blast. One shot blasts Punisher like that. Sleep tight. It's implied here that he can literally turn into lightning if he feels like it. Like a lightning mode in a human form. Like you don't see his body here at all until he materializes right here. All you see is a bolt in the panel before. He handled Sandman by blasting him, Trapstar, and even the Wizard. Electrical Storm, he stated, and now that I've demonstrated my power by humbling the three of you, yeah, night, let's talk about combining our might. All this machinery around him, he can just, all this metal isn't a good idea, so I'm gonna break out. Electro is free. He can literally take electricity from anything, is not an exaggeration. He even states, wow, the electricity running beneath the streets is boosting Electro's power. He's deadlier than ever. It depends on the environment you fight him in. Might not want to fight him during a thunderstorm in the clouds. Knocked out Spider-Man on this occasion by transmitting his electricity up a flagpole, making him sleepy. He can cling onto a vertical surface. Even states he is clinging to the electricity running through those neon letters. I cling to walls. So yeah, he can stick to walls thanks to his electricity. You can see the environmental destruction he can put out right there. Look at that big old letter getting broke out. And yes, other Spider-Man villains have beaten each other, like the fact that Electro has fought the Shocker. Ironic, right? His name is Shocker, but he doesn't use electricity, but shockwaves. And like you see here, them fighting each other. It's nice seeing members of the Rogues Gallery Spider-Man villains fight each other. Night Shocker blasted him away. He negated Spider-Man's ability to wall crawl thanks to electricity. He even broke free of metal controlled by Magneto, you know, because metal and him don't mix. He kind of has a form of electromagnetism himself. You see what I'm saying? He can insta-kill folks. Like, it's just brutal. Like, yikes. He can block attacks from Firestar, absorbs microwaves from Firestar, and then easily handles Gravity and her, thanks to his power. Get back, Gravity. Naturally, he should have some speed. It's kind of self-explanatory. He's at least as fast as lightning, right? But heck, he even has even greater feats of speed, thanks to him being an elemental being. Like tagging Quicksilver on this occasion. Like, bruh. Looks like he's using strategy, having electricity just go everywhere at the same time, though. He even states, show yourself. He just blasted everywhere at once. He even states he can detect disturbances in the electromagnetic field in his vicinity, which is why he's able to pinpoint this. He blasts Spider-Man faster than the guards can react, consistently tagging beings like Spider-Man, like I already showed this panel, though. He blasted 2 cables. Even Spider-Man called his aim great. Dodges and deflects a whole bunch of thrown stuff from Spider-Man, like reaction right there. There's even thugs that comment that he's quick, blasting it. Even characters like Daredevil, they have shown to be able to react to him, but he also can tag them, showing he's competent in speed to the characters like Daredevil, the same Daredevil that can react in a microsecond. He can keep up in fighting speed with characters like this. Yes, physical strength may not be his shining attribute, but he definitely ain't normal anyway. He's definitely got extra strength because of his electricity, or heck, his punches can be crazy because he can just release his electricity at the end of his fist after every punch. You know, stuff like that. I mean, the fact that his head leaves a crater in the wall and he's fine lets you know the level of durability he has to have to be able to take all these attacks from Spider-Man type characters anyway. Getting hit by Spider-Man plenty of times. Spider-Man has issues just one shot knocking him out, showing he has out of the ordinary durability. In this occasion, fighting Spider-Man, throwing debris at him and stuff. Survives a pummeling from Shocker, like I showed a little bit of this battle earlier. Showed he can take a lot of damage if need be. You guys know I love lore. If you want to pause all this and read all this, you can, about Electro's powers and abilities via writer intent. This gives you a lot of perspective on where he comes from. And here's more official guidebook stuff. He can store and manipulate electrostatic energy, which he can release and harness in a number of effects. Typically, Electro absorbs his energy from an external power source, but in the absence of external supply, he can generate a limited amount of electrostatic charge by transforming chemical energy from his own body, although this will physically weaken him. His energy projection really varies, and you can read all of this if you want to. I wasn't playing when I'm saying he's a skilled mechanic, by the way, and a skilled lineman. He even built an electrical generator that steals powers from the power grid and absorbs it into himself. I'm telling you, prep time him would be scary. His brain runs on 10,000 volts of electricity. That awkward moment when he created an artificial electricity storm, he used this to revive this being known as Stiltman, you know, because electricity can shock your heart and make you alive, stuff like that. Electric shields to protect himself. One could say he basically has telekinesis, being able to affect metal, like on some Magneto stuff. Repels multiple vehicles with his blast, like you see all the vehicles flying. Glassed Sandman. Even knocked out Reed Richards. Generate electricity through a fake gun. All this destruction he can cause with his blast power. One-shot blast Spider-Man on this occasion. Cheap-shotting Spider-Man, but that's still impressive, catching him off guard. Spider-Man's blocking his attacks, but it strains him. Not even safe. He can electrify an entire building. Like, you literally can't escape nowhere. All this energy he can produce, causing a massive explosion. He even fought the Young Avengers. Like, y'all getting handled. Ain't that something you gotta respect? When it comes to him amping himself with electricity, that's what he got electrical generators for. Bruh, he can really increase his output of power and the danger threat of beings he can fight. Boost his already incredible power with outside help. When he's amping himself off a nuclear generator, he can hurt sensational She-Hulk. Even got punched by She-Hulk, but he didn't get knocked out instantly when he was supercharged like this. This kind of does show that, yeah, he could kind of jump tiers if he gets enough energy at the right time. The potential. Keep note that he's not always at these power levels. This is him being amped by a generator, obviously. The fact that She-Hulk needed to use metal around her fist to even land a hit on him, letting you know how dangerous he was, even for her standards. And she's supposed to have resistance to all kind of elemental stuff, whether it be heat, ice, electrical, shock, whatever. Showing that his output was so dangerous it even threatened her to a bit. What's the limits to this guy Electro, though? Woo! Plenty of occasions of absorbing energy, like absorbing the power of this prison this one time, absorbing the power of a station, like it's just plenty of occasions. He even used Iron Lad to recharge himself, one of the Young Avengers, which is crazy, which is what I just showed you. He can electrically control generators in the city, but also he can also control the drawbridge. Like, he can control stuff that's controlled by electricity. He absorbs enough energy, he can kind of hold people hostage in their own home. He can literally threaten to send surges of electricity into people's homes. He can also control life support machines from miles away in New York and crazy stuff like that. He literally stated $10 million to release my chokehold on the city. In an hour, people start dying. When it comes to his electrical field, he can feel anyone who enters or touches his electrical field. It's like a part of him. Stated he can burn off Spider-Man's webbing with his electricity easily. Overpowered Captain America on this occasion by making him fall to the ground with his electric field, just by simply touching him. Not a good idea for people that's in water. He literally electrocutes and KOs Tiger Shark. He killed himself too, though, because they both was in water. But yeah, you get the idea. I love the fact that he can run up walls thanks to his electricity, though. He definitely got some superhuman durability, taking attacks from Captain America and Spider-Man at the same time. Even states from any less powerful supervillain than himself would have been hospitalized for days from punches from Spider-Man, letting you know that he has durability. He can react to stuff quickly, like turning stuff that Spider-Man throws at him into glass. Even Spider-Man knows how fast Electro is when he wants to be, saying a lot considering how fast Spider-Man is. Spider-Man has fought people that have had had lasers shot at Spider-Man before, and Spider-Man was still able to combat these lasers. He even states right here in this panel that I've got the speed of light on my side, yet Spider-Man still considers Electro to be a competently fast opponent, which is kind of proving that Electro has to be faster than lightning to even be able to compete, considering that Spider-Man has fought beings that use light before and still able to combat it. It even states here, I forgot how fast he can be. Casually melts bullet fired by police officers, reaction speed, and he can throw Spider-Man off balance. Just plenty of occasions of him with Spider-Man. Throughout the years, Electro has had his fair share of permanent power-up, so he gets stronger as time goes by. Check this out. He can literally turn into pure energy or just have a physical body. That's probably one of the most dangerous things about him, like the literal fact that he blocks water fired from Spider-Man and he knocks him out with electrical blast in the process, or the fact he blocks multiple pieces of rubble dropped on him. See here, he literally looks like straight full-blown pure energy. He travels through monitors to a TV station, for Pete's sake. He electrifies the entire building so police officers can't even enter the building if he wants. Like traveling through sockets in the wall, giving Spider-Man plenty of wars. Spider-Man even said he can't take much of this. Don't ever forget he made Sandman scream out in pain. When it comes to power output, he can jump tiers, but normally he's in the Spider-Man ranges when it comes to threat level. He can even surpass the Spider-Man threat level via hacks and just of the nature of electricity. Not everybody has resistance to heat, not everybody has resistance to shock, and if you're a mind control person, he can kind of get the advantage over you thanks to his electricity being a part of your brain waves and stuff like that, and how humans are just built. Heck, even in the Fantastic Four issue, I showed this earlier, the fact he was able to get the advantage over the Invisible Woman, thanks to his hacksy nature, is just ridiculous, because if I was to choose one in raw power, I would say Invisible Woman has more raw power. The fact he's able to create an electromagnetic storm around the Invisible Woman, carbonizing the air and imprisoning her within a sheath of rock-hard electrocarbon atoms. That's pretty freaking dangerous. Turning her into a living, literal statue. Kind of letting you know the threat level of Spider-Man to character rogues gallery. There's even a time when Electro became antimatter Electro. You can see the definition of what this stuff is here. AIM scientists got a hold of him and converted him into antimatter, basically, so he can get revenge on Thor. I mean, heck, he's even able to cause Thor pain by making him scream out in pain. Not to mention he seems unaffected by Thor's lightning. They said AIM found a way to create an antimatter version of Electro. Electro isn't always like this, but he was able to blast through Thor, but it didn't kill him though, but it wounded him pretty bad. It's not too many occasions like this, but this occasion kind of shows you what the true potential of Electro could be if the right writers got their hands on him. I mean, because electricity is a powerful element after all. He literally wanted to get revenge on Thor because Thor had embarrassed him in the past. They explained it. They said the process will convert your energy from electrons to protons, the same as during a massive discharge of lightning. Gamma radiation waves of protons. He states, will he be able to kill Thor? Yes, theoretically, but he's trying to tell you that the process could kill you as well. So it's like stakes. So they put him through experimentation. Quantum field generated. When it comes to power output here, he probably could be in the powerhouse tier at this moment. Being able to do this to freaking Thor is absolutely insanity. These two energy blasts clash with each other, as you can see right here, causing a massive explosion because of the difference between the protons and electrons and stuff. But they eventually ended up defeating him because Spider-Man and them working together because they scienced it up together, right? Spider-Man and Thor team up. See what I'm saying? He has insulated boots, by the way, to counter electricity. It makes perfect sense, right? When he turns himself into pure energy, he's almost nigh untouchable though, and super quick, freaking fast. I mean, not that his lifting strength matters, but thanks to his electricity, he can lift up stuff. I would have to say that he should be able to lift up easily over 100 tons just because of how Spider-Man characters are. I mean, Spider-Man has supported buildings, lifted trains, flicked train carts, lifted 60-ton tanks. Electro is a consistent Spider-Man tier villain, but he could possibly even jump tiers if he wants to. Man, I'm on Marvel.com. I don't take the power grids like Bible, but look where they got his energy projection at. And his speed, it kind of makes sense too. It's pretty high too. You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff you got to respect from Electro. If the writers ever decide to just go wild with the potential of electricity, he could become godlike. Think about it. Energy output, the limits of what energy can do, especially in Marvel, is kind of scary. Like, what if they explore Electro like they did in the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions game, when Electro in the Ultimate Universe of this game's universe got the power of some like omega level fragment that boosted him beyond normal levels, where he became pure energy. He became so powerful that Spider-Man couldn't even harm him, his punches anymore. What if they do this in the future of Electro? Wouldn't that be intriguing?
Become a being of pure energy. All that power and toast.
Like, imagine him looking this big and epic and just absorbing more energy from either sky or generators. Epic, right? That is just about going to do it. Did you guys know Electro is this strong? Respect him. He's one of the mightiest beings in Spider-Man's rogues gallery. Very powerful elemental being. Potential seems to be pretty much limitless if the writers wanted to go crazy with him. But I'll see you guys later. Hit a like on the video if you enjoyed yourself. Check out the playlist. Subscribe to the channel. It will help me out. And I'll see you guys later.